I'm just going to share. I wanted to get a divorce because I was not happy. Welcome back to the Life and Business Podcast. I'm your host, Sue Bravo. This is the podcast where we share stories and strategies to help you to live life well by doing business better, counterculturally, simply, in a way that doesn't cause overwhelm and burnout, a way that helps you build a business that allows you to live the life that you've been dreaming of. On today's podcast, I want to talk all about how being nice is a choice. In fact, you can insert any emotion there. So being whatever feeling, being X emotion is a choice. And the reason, or I guess what inspired this podcast episode was because my son was like getting to the end of bedtime. He was getting really frustrated. He was saying a lot of just like mean things. And I'm just like, I know that he's not like, he doesn't believe that it's like, those are lies, right? And I could just tell that he was getting so frustrated, and he was choosing what I was teaching him in that moment was like, you're choosing to be disrespectful right now. You're choosing not to be kind right now, right? The words that you're using, the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing, you're choosing to not be nice. And that made me think about how like being nice out in the world, not just like him, but you, right? Me, anybody watching or listening to this podcast, is like being nice is a choice. But I wondered, the question I was actually thinking about is, what else in your life is a choice that you don't believe is a choice? For example, we might have that one relative that really just like ticks us off, makes us frustrated, is irritating. We just don't like being around them. And we just say like, every time I'm around them, I get XYZ. I get frustrated. I get irritated. I get whatever, right? And I wonder like how much, I want you to ask yourself this big question, okay? How much power are you giving them? Think about that for a second. How much power are you giving them? Because that's a lot of power that that person has on you. If you can just walk in the room and be immediately frustrated, be immediately irritated, be immediately just like, ugh, right? That means they have the power to control how you feel. How much power are you quite literally handing over and giving over to them? And sometimes I let my kids have all the power. Because here's what I do. They do something and then I get frustrated and then I'm yelling at them and I'm giving them all of the power. And as little kids, they don't know. They're just like, they just soak it all in. They're just like, well, mom's yelling, so I'm going to yell. And we just like go back and forth. And it's like, I'm giving them all of the power to make me frustrated, to make me irritated. And so in that moment, I just want you to ask yourself, like, do you want to give that person that power to make you feel these negative emotions, to make you feel quote unquote triggered, right? And I use that in air quotations for this purpose, because what I'm trying to help you understand here is that like, they don't have power over you. They don't. You are in control of your emotions. And so if you want to, you can hand that over, but they don't really have control of it. It's a choice. You're giving that over to them because you could choose to be compassionate. You could choose to be understanding. You could choose to be kind. You could even choose to not engage with them, but not be frustrated. You could choose to simply think, oh, they're here too? Cool. I'm going to still enjoy myself. Do you see how our thoughts and our emotions are a choice? You could think 100 different things about this person, but your emotions are still your choice. And an example that I give here is, for people to really understand this, is if I gave you, I just want you to think about you individually. If I gave you $1,000 cash right now, what would you think and what would you feel? Some people are going to be like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's going to save me XYZ. That's going to buy groceries for the entire month. I don't know about in Southern California. I don't know if you can afford that in Southern California for $1,000. But, right, some people are going to be like, wow, like that's my car payment. That's 3 car payments. That's my rent. That's XYZ. And some other people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like they might be in the same predicament, but they might be like, oh my gosh, that's not nearly enough. Like that's not even enough for groceries. That's not even enough for my rent, or that's not even enough, right? And so they could have that emotion and those thoughts and those feelings, okay? They could still be in desperation and scarcity and anxiety. And then there could be other people who are maybe billionaires, right? Think about somebody you know who is a billionaire. Like if I gave them $1,000 cash right now, they would be like, cool, I'm going to give this to a homeless person. Cool, let's go get a drink or whatever it is, right? Like all these people are going to have different thoughts. Therefore, they're going to have different feelings about the same exact circumstance, $1,000. Because guess what? $1,000 is neutral. It doesn't have any thoughts or feelings. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just $1,000. And you get to decide what thoughts and what emotions you have. And so when we think about how I was saying earlier at the beginning was like, being nice is a choice. Being frustrated is a choice. What other emotions do you feel often? I think for me, what emotions that I feel often is like joy with being with my kids. When I am fully present and I don't have to do anything else except for be with my kids, I just get so much joy. I'm just like, I just want to cuddle you forever. And my kids are like 3, 5, 8, and 9. And I'm just like, I just want to cuddle you forever. And it's just like this joy and this peace and this like, you get to be fully present. And that's one of the big things that I work with my clients on is being fully present in your life and increasing your profits in your business. But that's what I love to help my clients with, so that when they're with their family, when you are with your friends, right, you don't have to sacrifice any of that because you're constantly thinking like, oh my gosh, I gotta answer that client email, or I gotta do this, or I gotta post, or I gotta record that reel, or I gotta go viral. It's like, no, I just get to be in this moment full of peace and joy and calm with the people that I love, with the friends that I want to be around with myself. Like, hanging out by yourself, you get to feel that joy and that peace, right? But then when you're in your business, you get to be fully focused because you're like, cool, I've got this dedicated time just for my business to make it work, to increase the profits in this restricted amount of time. And so again, all this to say, like, I want to just like plant the seed in your mind that your emotions, your feelings, the things that you feel are a choice. And you get to choose how you feel about a certain situation, no matter what. And with that, I also want to share that your feelings are not good or bad. And so if you're feeling frustrated, it's not a good or bad feeling. If you're feeling sad, it's not a good or bad feeling. Okay. Our feelings are just like, the way I explain it is that like they're either helping you or they're not helping you, right? They're helping you get what you want, or they're not helping you get what you want. For example, the other podcast, I was talking about how I was so frustrated about something. It's like I look back and I reflect on it, and I know being so frustrated, so irritated, so just what I said was like, I was just pissed off. That was not helping me at all. Now, there are other times where like being righteously angry about unjust things, like that is really serving because that's motivating and it helps us to make world change, right? Like economic change, things like that. But again, another example I like to give is the emotion of being sad, because sometimes people think that being sad is a negative emotion and they correlate negative emotions to being bad. But I feel like, what if somebody had died, right? It would be weird to be like, you can't be sad that they died. No way. Like, no. And then how would that person be able to grieve and process their grief and continue to move forward with their life if everybody kept telling them like, it's not okay to be sad? Like, you should just be happy. Be happy that they lived a long life. Be happy that you got to spend time with them. Be happy that you were there and that in their last hours. It's like, no, I'm happy I got to do that. But I'm also sad and I'm mourning that they are not here anymore, that we had all these things we wanted to do together, the stories that we wanted to share and live life together. And so I just really want to kind of end this note of like, your emotions are not good or bad. Okay. You can identify them if you want to, like label them as positive or negative. But I really just like to say like, what is the emotion you're feeling, and is it helping you or is it not helping you? And then you have to decide. This is the hardest part. You have to decide, do I want to keep feeling this feeling because it's helping me? Or do I not want to feel this feeling anymore because it's not? Which one did I already say? Do I want to continue feeling this feeling because it is helping me? Or do I not want to feel this feeling because it's not helping me? You have to decide that. And the moment you make that decision, you will be able to take a step forward in either continuing to feel that feeling and processing, or changing your emotion. And the way you change your emotion is by asking yourself, okay, I actually don't want to feel this way because it's not helping me. I'm just spiraling down and it's not serving to me, my clients, my family, whatever it is, whoever's involved in this, right? And sometimes it might just be you. It's not helping me create the result that I want to create. What do I want to feel instead? Right? So again, like maybe it was a client and we're frustrated that they didn't respond in a timely manner. So we get to decide, do I want to be frustrated here? No, I don't want to be frustrated. How do I want to feel? I want to feel compassionate. So what do you have to think in order to feel compassionate? One of the first thoughts that I think is, I have no idea what's going on behind the scene. And so I want to be compassionate. And the way I can be compassionate is by being curious and asking questions. Hey, here's the situation. Here's what happened. I had asked for a response by XYZ date. I noticed that didn't happen. Let me know if you have changed your mind. Let me know if things have shifted. Let me know if there's anything going on in the back. How can I support you? What's going on with your family? Like, it depends on what kind of business you have, right? But you just want to lead with compassion and curiosity. Curiosity will allow you to ask a lot more questions so that you can be more compassionate, because they might be like, hey, you know what? I've been swamped at work and I have not been able to do anything else besides just work on this one specific project, right? And then you begin to have compassion because you're like, okay, cool. I totally understand. Let's shift the deadline for this project, this other project instead, right? And so when you are able to understand that your emotions are a choice, you also get to choose how you feel about different situations. And in that, you know how earlier I was talking about that relative who is taking your power and you're giving that power over to them? When you're able to choose how you feel because the things that you're thinking, you get to literally like have power over your emotions and your thoughts and yourself and your body. And it sounds so cheesy, but it's like that cliche life coaching phrase of like, you get to take your power back, but you literally do. Like, you actually literally do. And I think about a Tony Robbins event that I had attended. In that moment, I think I'll save like the actual detail story for another day. I think this is actually going to go into like my book when I'm like 50 years old, writing about my life trauma. But I think about, there was a moment where I wanted to, I'm just going to share. I wanted to get a divorce because I was not happy. Hey friends, if you want to create more wealth, impact, and freedom in your life as an entrepreneur, I invite you to join me inside of my private coaching program where I teach you how to make a bigger impact in your business, but then also be fully present in your life. You can check the show notes or descriptions wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast to book your free consultation today. So cliche, so many people say that, but that was literally like the thought that I was telling myself was, I cannot be happy unless I get a divorce. I want you guys to think about that for a second. What kind of feelings would I be feeling if I kept telling myself that every single day? I'm not going to be happy unless I get a divorce. Well, obviously I'm not going to be happy because I keep telling myself I can't be happy unless I get a divorce. And so at the Tony Robbins event, my life completely changed. I took back my power. I actually realized, I could just choose to be happy right now. And I just chose to be happy. Like, literally in that moment, I was like, I just get to choose to be happy. And it's so crazy. I think his event is actually called Unleash the Power Within. So how crazy is that? But anyway, so cliche, but so true. Let me know if you guys want to hear more about that whole processing of the divorce and being happy. And I just want to like remind you all that, like, when I say that, I know that there are so many people out there who have a similar thought. I can't be successful unless XYZ happens. I can't feel good enough unless XYZ happens. I don't feel worthy enough unless XYZ happens. I won't feel capable enough unless XYZ happens. But I want to invite you into the possibility that you have access to that feeling right now. I truly believe. I think, like, I always hold all of my clients to their highest level self. So I believe that every single client is able to feel any emotion that they want to feel right now, and it is choice. And it might take a little coaching. It might take a little curiosity. It might take a little bit of me asking you different questions to get there. But I truly believe that you can access and you can feel any emotion that you want to feel right now. And here's a quick tip, going off a little tangent, but here's a quick tip. Whatever feeling you want to feel, I want you to just think back about a moment in your life where you did feel that feeling, where you did experience that emotion. And I want you to think about the thoughts that were happening. What were you telling yourself? What was actually happening? What was your experience in that? And I want you to just bring yourself back there and find the one thought, the one thing that you told yourself. Okay? And just choose to believe that thought right now. Again, like how I said, I was literally like, I can't believe, it sounds so crazy, but it's like, I can't be happy unless I get a divorce. And then like Tony Robbins was just like, you can just be happy right now. You just choose to be happy. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm just happy. I'm with my kids. I'm happy. Like, and it wasn't like the toxic positivity thing. No, like I literally just chose. I was like, if I get a divorce, I can be happy. If I don't get a divorce, I can be happy. Right? I was like, I could just choose. So I'm going to choose to be happy right now, married. And then let's see if things change my marriage. Right? And things did change, you know? And so again, I just want to really encourage you guys. I feel like I'm taking you guys down a deep end. Let me know in the comments if you're watching, and send me a message on Instagram what topics you guys want to talk about, because I like these kind of podcasts where like I'm just talking about random things, and it's okay. You guys let me know what you guys want to hear more of. And with that, I'm going to end the podcast episode here. Thank you guys so much for being here, listening to me ramble, listening to me talk on this episode. And I would so love and appreciate your support if you guys would like, subscribe, leave a review. Please share it with your friends if you found this episode to be insightful, valuable, funny, just like real or relatable. I'd love for you to share it out with a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.